was a journal I kept when I was 16. It is full of ideas and doodles and magazine cutouts of Jennifer Aniston's different hairstyles. But in here is also a list I wrote. Things I will accomplish when I grow up. And if you skip past climb Kilimanjaro barefoot and get married in outer space, you will find the greatest ambition of all. As a naive and innocent teenager, I wrote this: create world peace. I laughed it off for most of my adult life, but now I know it's not impossible. I'm going to tell you a personal story, and then I'm going to tell you how together, with one emotion we can collectively embrace, we can help fight climate change, help end world hunger, and maybe even reduce the amount of violence and diseases on this planet. But only if we choose it together, with an open mind. The solution is not scary science and big numbers. It is our collective human experience. What if peace on earth was us? A few years back, my life seemed perfect. I had what most people dreamt of. I was a rising star in this competitive workplace. I had a kind husband and a beautiful and smart baby boy who didn't even cry once. I lived in a large villa with a private pool. It was easy and comfortable. To anyone looking at my life from the outside, it seemed perfect. What more could I want? But I wasn't happy. My life was full of convenience but empty of meaning. And when I looked at this journal, I felt that I was nowhere close to being the adult I always wanted to be. A nagging voice inside me made me question my existence, and I was haunted by suicidal thoughts. The voice was angry and confused and hopeless. I was clinically diagnosed with depression, GAD, generalized anxiety disorder, and PTSD from a childhood trauma. But something in me told me that the prescription I was given for an antidepressant cannot be the only answer. And if you or anyone you know have ever been through something like this, then you know how hard it is to really pinpoint why you're not happy or to find peace when your own spirits are at war. But I knew I felt heavy and trapped in a rhythm that was almost unnatural. Something in me told me that if I could manage to shed old conditionings, I would find answers waiting within. So I booked a flight and I spent 8 days alone in a jungle with absolutely no food. Not eating for so long seemed impossible, but I was craving answers more than any meal. Fasting really changes your relationship with French fries, but more importantly, experiencing firsthand the healing power of nature made me question everything about our food choices and about how we treat the planet and its resources. Nature's food is meant to be healing. Hippocrates said, our food should be our medicine and our medicine should be our food. Yet 7 out of the 10 leading causes of death today are related to food and lifestyle. I ran away to find a natural remedy, but there was nothing natural about how we were eating. We have commoditized our food systems so much that we push them so far away from what the earth had intended to grow from its soil, to become processed and packaged and full of the suffering of other living beings that are meant to exist with us, not for us. Right there, a seed was planted. And when I was attempting to integrate back into society, I was invited to a barbecue for 20 people. I sat right in front of a giant grill, and the different smells made me think about the different animals on there. And as I held my burger bun with the little perfect circles of mustard and ketchup that I had painted, ready to throw a patty onto it, I thought, is this life not worth more than my sandwich? I was overcome with compassion. And suddenly, in that moment, I finally knew why I wasn't happy. How can I live in peace when I cause so much harm? I soon discovered that compassionate eating is not a new topic. Many thought leaders in history really did believe that this was the secret of life. Einstein, Gandhi, Steve Jobs, Da Vinci, Isaac Newton, Plato, Voltaire, Tolstoy, they all believed that peace needs to begin on your dinner plate, and that we're all made of energy, and thus we're all connected, a sort of thread that joins us all together. And when we tug at that thread, what we do to another, we ultimately do to ourselves. Some people describe this realization as everything they know tumbled down into rubble. For me, it was an explosion of everything I did not know manifesting before my eyes. I wasn't sure what to do with that feeling, but I knew it was a fire simmering inside me. And when I tried to define it, I found out that unlike sympathy, which is the feeling of pity for another's misfortune, compassion is actually defined as the feeling of sympathetic consciousness of others' distress together with a desire to alleviate it. A desire to alleviate it, to do something about it. So I did. I found a voice that I didn't know I had. It was raw and ambitious and full of passion and fury. I spoke up. I started a school program to raise awareness. I invested in plant-based businesses. I wrote a book to guide other people on this journey. I rescued animals and started fundraisers, and I got a certificate in plant-based nutrition. And I founded Dubai Vegan Community, where more than 5,000 followers jumped in to help me lead initiatives to drive awareness about the impact of our food on the world around us. This same compassion propelled me onto a mission where everything from the clothes I bought to the career I led had to be in alignment with my core values and a greater purpose. Where just existing in society was no longer enough. Instead, I had to be a force of positive energy, of kindness. I had to make a difference. And of course, with the power of a plant-based diet, I also started to feel my body change. I had more energy, I lost a lot of weight, I finally reversed the anemia I had since childhood, and I was glowing. At 35, I looked better than I did as a teenager. My body was transforming before my eyes. I not only developed a beautiful sensitivity to the person within me, but to the people around me too. Acknowledging that this world is full of cruelty and terror meant that all I could do to balance it out was to fill my own life with random acts of kindness. I was suddenly more generous, more open-minded, and more patient. It was as if that compassion towards all sentient beings that share life on this planet was crawling through my veins until it had completely taken over. And after a while of choosing this lifestyle with minimal harm, I remember experiencing a sort of shift in my consciousness. I felt lighter, as though a weight I'd been carrying my whole life has been finally lifted off my shoulders. It was as if my conscience was truly clear for the first time. I was finally happy. And when I found that inner peace, I finally knew what world peace could look like. Think about what would happen if every single person embraces this compassion within. If together, we all decide to keep that thread free of harm and suffering. If we all collectively start eating compassionately. It sounds too simple. How does doing something like choosing beans over chicken wings while standing in line at the cafeteria actually make a difference? But the impact of this $2 trillion animal agriculture industry on the world around us is mind-blowing. And the more we demand, the more we fuel its supply. Every one person removing animal products from their diets for just 1 year saves as much water as 23,617 quick showers, saves as much CO2 emissions as using a car for more than a year, saves as much forest land as 2 football fields, and saves enough crop to provide ample calories to 20 hungry children. Yes, we can feed 20 hungry children per person per year. Today, we have enough cropland that we use to feed 77 billion animals, to use them to feed the people that can afford them. Well, some people go hungry. When we can actually just use that same cropland to feed all the people of this planet directly, more people, more nutritiously, along with a reasonable and natural number of farm animals that can coexist with us. In fact, the Council of Agriculture, Science and Technology says that with the available cropland in just America alone, 10 billion people could be fed around the world if we eliminate animal products. That's basically enough food for everyone. We can end world hunger. And of course, that's not to mention the impact on society, where research has shown that when a slaughterhouse opens in a community, the increase in crime have been particularly dramatic. Or the fact that in the past 50 years, unsanitary factory farm sheds and wet markets have been breeding grounds for new zoonotic pathogens. Ebola, MERS, swine flu, SARS, bird flu, and the mad cow disease, they're all linked to meat production and consumption. When we are unkind to the planet around us and its resources, it's only a matter of time before the thread that is connecting us catches fire. Now, the sad truth is, this way of living, the food choices we make at the expense of nature's resources, have been normalized for so long that it's just become our culture. A culture that has been accepted for so long that it's now a tradition. But traditions do not always justify actions. Think about all the okay things humanity has gone through that are no longer okay at all. Women as second-class citizens, slavery and female circumcision, all these were accepted earlier. At one point, not long ago, some doctors were recommending smoking for stress relief. And we evolved. We equipped ourselves with knowledge, science, and compassion to stand up against such traditions. But to resist ideologies that have been such a normal for so long is in itself the greatest choice of all. The power of unlearning. Compassion is simply reclaiming that choice. To choose to save the planet, to choose to end world hunger, to choose what is best for society. We're blessed to live in a world where we can enjoy delicious and abundant food without causing any harm. So perhaps, the next time you stand in that cafeteria line, maybe you can pick a bowl of hummus. Maybe, instead of skipping the plastic straw to save the fish, you just don't eat the fish to save the fish. Or maybe you just think about this with an open mind, and that in itself is a noble choice. Yes, ultimately it's a choice. One choice to give the human race a chance to be more peaceful, kinder to the world around us. A new chapter where we are all truly acting in full alignment with our core values. My understanding of world peace may have evolved since I was a 16-year-old scribbling in that journal. Perhaps peace was never about waving a white flag. It was never about a magic wand that will magically end all inequality or poverty or wars. Perhaps peace is simply bringing a higher level of consciousness into the day-to-day decisions we make. What we say, what we eat, what energy we carry. And in a world where our energies are connected in ways that science is only now starting to understand, imagine the impact of these conscious choices we individually make on our collective being, on our family, on our societies, on the children we raise and the organizations we work in, simply on the whole world. I invite you to explore what compassion means to you and what it means to be in alignment with your values in your own ways. And I ask you, in a world full of terror, what role will you choose to play? Thank you.